First day of doing a new video series, and it's just like the first day of going to a new job, right? But in all seriousness, though, hello everybody, and welcome to the first ever commemorative episode of Dave's Retails. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. This is a series in which I, Dave, would like to talk about my retail experience over the past good 5 years or so. Wow, 5 years. That's a long time. So, I don't know if you got the memo yet or not, but this video may or may not have been based off of Camelot331's GameStop and Other Retail Chronicles series and Fantavision's Tales from Retail series. I love those guys very much. They have some very, very good and very juicy stories to tell about retail. And if you guys don't watch their stuff already, please, I beg of you, please go to the description below and not hit the pop filter on the mic again, to give those guys a like and subscribe, because holy shit, those guys give some fantastic retail stories. They're hilarious, they're gruesome, they're, oh my god, they're just amazing. And some of their retail experiences have been a lot worse than mine have been, so I kind of consider myself lucky. But at the same time, throughout this series, you'll find out why I'm kind of hesitant when I say that. Speaking of throughout this series, I do want to also make a disclaimer. This will probably be shortened and cliff noted over the series, but I just wanted to say a couple things about this series, in that this series is not meant at all to slander the places that I talk about. And this series should also not hinder your current retail experience or your want to work in retail by any and all means. I'd like to share more positive experiences rather than negative experiences throughout this series. What I intend for this series to do is to give you guys my stories. I want to tell stories with this series, and that's what Fantavision does, that's what Camelot does. That's what a lot of people are doing nowadays, is they're going to this sort of format of videos where it's kind of podcasty style, where it's kind of story time as well. So I kind of wanted to chip in to this kind of video series. I hit the damn pop filter again. I'm gonna move that back. Hopefully I won't hit it again if it's like that. Perfect. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I kind of wanted to chip into the story time, Tales from Retail Chronicles kind of series deal with the topic of this episode to kind of kick things off. So, since I kind of lost my train of thought, the summarization of this disclaimer is simply the fact that I don't want this series to slander on any place of work, albeit retail, and I don't want this series and my stories to hinder your experience working for the places that I mentioned, or if you'd want to work for those places, I don't want this series to put a damper onto your wants and needs, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, disclaimer over. I don't want to fall victim to the YouTube algorithm begging and pleading kind of gag here in these videos, but seriously, if you could give this video a like, and if you could subscribe if you haven't already, I'd really truly appreciate it. I may not be monetized, however, I'm kind of sort of thinking about that now, and it all in all would just help in the long run, whether I'm monetized or not. You know what I mean? Alright, so I've probably been talking for a good bit of 5 minutes now. I don't want this video to be any longer than it already is for me and for you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the topic of this video, which you probably saw in the title below already. I'm going to talk about FYE, For Your Entertainment. You may know of this store in your area as either FYE, Sam Goody, or Record Town. That's what it was in my area for years. Then we changed the name to FYE way longer before I was born. I was working there from August of 2019 to actually about 3 days ago or so, July 2020. And I do have the shirts here for kind of sort of a reason. As you can see, yes, I was working at FYE. There's the proof. I do have the shirts. The badge is in my car, which I still have not taken out yet. Basically, the reason why I say I'm no longer working at FYE is because of the fact that we've had to close my store down. Now, closing a retail location, that's kind of sort of the topic for today. And I'm just putting FYE into it because that's the example that I want to give. So, closing a store location, that's as it is very difficult to do. Be it closing a Walmart, be it closing a GameStop, be it closing, hell, even closing a Dollar General or a ma and pa grocery store or restaurant or whatever. Closing a place of business is very, very difficult, very hard on the employees, very hard on the owner, and it's just very hard on the community as well. It was just hard all around to close this store. So I kind of wanted to give the story of how the FYE in our area closed. And I wanted to give that story from a customer side of things, and I also wanted to give that story from an employee side of things, along with kind of sort of some inside scoop on what happened during the closing from the employee side of things. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. Our store specifically, that store has been kind of the target for mall management to say, hey, we want you out if you can't pay this much in rent, because the closing sale, if you will, has happened a couple different times over the past several years now. It's happened twice as far as I'm concerned before we actually finally closed down. And I will have some B-roll footage playing of the second time that the store closing was supposed to happen. This was the third time, obviously, that the store was supposed to close, and it finally got closed down. Third strike, you're out. The first store closing happened, I don't know why that happened. The store got reopened and it turned itself back around, only to be marked on the list of closing stores again. There were multiple reasons behind that. A, of course, was the rent in the mall. The rent was going to be spiked stupid high, and our company, Transworld Entertainment, did not want a part of that. So they said, hey, we're pulling out. Next to the last day that this whole thing was happening, we were supposed to close like at the beginning of February, but 2 days before we closed, mall corporate came in when our corporate was in, and perfect timing. They said, hey, let's sit somewhere and we can sign a new lease for you. We don't want you to go. We think that we're going to lose a good bit of our customer base in the mall if you guys do leave. So our corporate signed a lease agreement with mall's corporate, and we were fine. We were apparently fine. Some of the other reason, though, that we were originally slated to close back in 2018, 2019 was because of the fact of absolute garbage management and garbage employees. So a buddy of mine was the assistant store manager, I believe, if I remember right. I think that was his position. And he was basically stealing money, merch, and a bunch of other things out the ass before he was supposed to get fired. But he decided he'd go out on his own terms. He quit when my former store manager came in, and everybody was after the assistant manager's ass, you know? Everybody wanted him fired. Corporate, loss prevention, my current/former store manager, all of corporate, everybody just wanted him fired because of the fact that he was stealing, because of the fact that he was putting that store, our store, on the target list, and we didn't want that. And because of that, our shrink for that inventory was absolutely low, and we were on the target list. The assistant manager noticed that, oh god, everybody's after my ass, so I'm probably going to get fired, and I don't want that. Here's my notice of resignation. I'm just going to book it. And that's essentially what he did. And he only stopped in a couple of times after that just to look around. He didn't buy anything. He asked for the store manager. He asked to speak with him about his W-2s, and this was in like July, right after tax day was done. Of course, my manager said he should have gotten them in the mail. Why do you have to stop in? I've made some assumptions. I'm fairly certain he made some assumptions as well, the same assumptions that I've made. I got hired in. We were trying to better up our employee roster. We were trying to better up our store in terms of numbers and inventory and shrink and all that. And of course, we've done it. We were the second best, third best, fourth best, hell, even first best store in the district that we were in for a while. And then we moved districts back in, I want to say, the holiday season to January 2020. And we were still, one of the top tier stores. We were still like second best, third best store in the district. And then I think in late January, early February, we got hit with this closing sale. Big time. So we had to put up the signage, we had to reprice everything, we had to make sure our point of sale system was perfectly discounting everything, and if not, we had to do the math ourselves as associates. And that was kind of a rough time because we really didn't want to close. We knew that we had turned the store around, but of course, mall management said, we're going to try to spike up the rent again. I know how you guys are doing in sales. And our company, again, Transworld Entertainment, wanted no part of that, so they were going to pull out. During this whole closing sale thing, I think during the beginning, if not a little bit before the beginning, we got bought out as a company, Transworld Entertainment, our stores, Sam Goody, FYE, Record Town, etc. We got bought out by a company called Sunrise Records out of Canada. And essentially what the company was going to do with us was to open more stores, but not make them so much physical media based. What they were going to do was make them more collectible based. So memorabilia, shirts, Funko Pops was a big thing as well that they were going to put on the list. It's just going to be less physical media, maybe carry the new releases every once in a while, and just drop them after a certain date. And that's pretty much all the media they'd carry in store, physical media. Of course, physical media is obviously dying, and I'll probably make a video later on that. But I guess collector's items are more of a big deal. By the way, this was actually something that I was able to take from my personal store. This was actually something that got damaged out for some reason. I don't know why. But it's just sat in the back room as my store manager's protector for ever since he took over the store. So I got it, and now it's protecting my desk, which is awesome. I got a lot of other things from the store that I worked at as well. I'll probably mention some of that later on. But anyhow, so we started the closing sale. We started hanging up signs. We started marking everything down. And of course, employees and customers started buying everything like crazy because we didn't know originally when we were going to actually finally close. And people kept asking me and our other associates, why are you guys closing again? This is like the third or fourth time you guys are closing. And I've told them multiple times the answer to that was the fact that the mall itself is trying to charge us a higher price in rent, and our company wants no part of that, so they're trying to pull us out. So they said, oh, okay, well, maybe we should get better people in the mall office, and that's sort of what I'm thinking. Of course, a little bit later on, a disease hit that caused a pandemic. It starts with a C. It's named after a Mexican beer, and it came from China. I'm not going to say the name of it because I think YouTube is still taking people down for saying the name of it. That hit, and we all had to be put under quarantine for a certain period of time, and our governor shut everything down for a certain period of time, so we were all out of work. All of our employees were laid off and out of work for 3 months, from the end of March to around the middle of June. The middle of June is when we opened back up. I was one of the first people called back by my store manager to say, hey, we're back open now. Do you want to come work? I jumped on that opportunity and got as many hours in as I could. And of course, hours were lessened by the whole C disease. That's what I'll call it now, C disease. Hours are lessened everywhere by the C disease, everywhere that is deemed as non-essential. And so we could only bring back a few people. I was there as a part-time sales associate. I had my store manager with me, and I also had our third key. I'll explain more about her later on in the video. Keep her in mind. Our senior assistant wasn't brought back. A couple of other sales associates weren't brought back either, so they were cut ties with. So it was only 3 people running the store, and sometimes it was only single coverage. So most people heard it more than others that, oh, FYE in our mall is closing, and this is kind of sort of bullshit. We should probably do something about it. We can't really do anything about it. Let's just let it die. That's basically what I'm getting at as for what has happened to our store. Do not quote me on that, though. So a lot of people are talking about the FYE closing in our mall. A lot of people are coming in and buying a bunch of stuff because they don't know as much as we don't know when we're going to close. So a couple of days into this, I think it was about a week into me being back to work, actually, and I got hit by my store manager saying, hey, look at this email. The email said, not necessarily word for word, but the email said, hey, you guys are going to be closing July 10th. That is your final day. We'll have a couple of other store managers from 2 different areas. We'll have your DM come in, and we'll have LP probably come in. I don't know if they are going to come in or not. They didn't. They're all going to come in and help you guys tear down the store, get everything out, get everything transferred, so that you guys can go ahead and be done with this whole thing after July 10th. July 10th was our final day. We had to put the big last day sign in our window that said last 10 days, last 9 days, all the way up until last 1 day. And the last day we closed early by approval of the district manager and one of the other store managers. They all came in and helped us close out the store. We started packing stuff up and transferring it to other stores, and some of it we sent back to the company in Albany, New York. A lot of it, actually, we sent back to the company in New York. A lot of the media we sent back, the CD, DVD, Blu-ray, new and used, vinyl as well. Some of the other stuff we sent back to the company as well, some of the Funko Pops. A lot of the Funko Pops actually got sent back. A lot of the other merchandise got sent back, some of the stuff that we couldn't really sell in other stores. A lot of the stuff that we couldn't really sell in the other stores, not only did it get sent back to the company, but a lot of the clearance stuff as well, like some of the stuff that ended in 77 cents or 88 cents, or some of the stuff that was pennied out, was either pitched or donated to Goodwill, Share Christmas, a bunch of different churches and foundations, whatever have you. And that's actually something really good that our company did. That's something good that came out of this, because I donated personally. I had to go to Goodwill and donate a big box of the Red Dot t-shirts, which were bringing up $3, that a lot of people didn't buy. And we also donated to Goodwill a couple boxes of hats and a box or 2 of socks as well. So altogether we had about, I want to say, $400 or $500 worth of donations go to the local Goodwill those couple of days, which was actually really something good that came out of it. So yeah, we were tearing fixtures down, we were packing boxes up, we were cleaning the store like crazy, and of course, people weren't really complaining about having to do the hard work. We were all just complaining about the fact that our FYE got closed, and we're all kind of pissed off that it did. Both the employees from out of stores and the DM, and the employees from our store, myself, the store manager, the third key, and even the senior assistant came in on Friday, July 10th, when we were supposed to close, to turn in his keys, and he was honestly ranting to me and my store manager about the fact that, this really was bullshit. This whole thing was bullshit. There was also somebody else complaining that pretty much everything was bullshit, and not in the sort of manner that you'd think, oh, well, this is a store closing, it's kind of bullshit that we're closing. This person was also complaining about the fact that she had to do a bunch of the hard, heavy-duty work, like lifting things, packing things up. She had to be on her feet all day for 12 hours or so. She had to help move stuff. She had to help clean stuff up. I don't know if I said that already or not. She was basically complaining about virtually every fucking thing. And can you guess who this person was? The answer is my third key. Yeah, the third key we had, who was brought back second next to me, she was complaining. She was bitching about literally everything. absolutely every fucking thing. And I'm pretty sure she pissed one of the other store managers off really badly too, because she was tired on Saturday. We were, of course, in the store from 8 a.m. until about 8 p.m. doing a bunch of shit, packing shit up, putting stuff in piles so that we can load it onto trucks and into the U-Haul to transfer to other stores or back to the company or whatever. We were cleaning like crazy. And of course, our third key was complaining about all of it. And I think one of the other store managers got fed up with it. I'm actually surprised that she really didn't say anything to either myself or my store manager. And of course, I kind of got pissed off about it too. Why complain about having to do all the heavy duty work? It's 8 hours, it's 12 hours, it's 6 hours, throughout this whole process that you get paid by the company for just being there along with your severance. So she was complaining about just having to be there after we closed just to help. And my store manager even said himself, once the store is closed, the scheduling is out of my hands. And it's into the DM's hands. So don't go complain to me. Yet, what does she do? She pulls out her phone every 5 minutes and just beep, 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 complains to the store manager. And of course, on Saturday, he was off because his brother was getting married. He was attending a wedding. He was being a part of the wedding. And he even told us that, don't text me because I'm going to be at this wedding. I may not reply. He texted me after everything was said and done, after I got home, with this pretty much big, huge paragraph summarized into one sentence. The third key complained. A lot. And that was basically the sentence that my manager texted me. And I'm just like, I know. She was complaining to me too. And I'm sure that she texted my manager a lot because she usually does that. Even when we were open as a store, she usually did that a lot. With simple, stupid questions like, this Funko Pop is clearance price. Should I reprice it? Stupid shit like that. The light bulb is blown out in the bathroom. Should I replace it? Stupid shit like that. She does that a lot. I mean, a lot. It was absolutely stupid, and it got even stupider throughout this whole closing process. So, after the third key was told that she was done, she booked it. She turned in her keys and booked it Sunday. And my manager and I went to the China buffet that's in the mall, and he treated me to the China buffet. He treated me to lunch. And we were talking about this whole store closing thing, and he's like, oh yeah, here, let me pull up my phone. Let me pull up my phone and show you all the text messages. Here's all the text messages. Here's from here down. He showed me how many text messages just specifically about complaining that the store was closed and I really shouldn't have to do all this work. Even if the schedule was out of the store manager's hands, it was into the DM's hands now. As you can see from the pictures and B-roll that I'm showing now, we had to definitely take everything out of the store and send it off to either the other store manager's store. We had to send some of it back to the company in Albany, New York. We had to donate a lot of the clearance items, and a lot of the stuff actually got tossed. A lot of the fixtures, a lot of the office supplies, a lot of the clothes hangers. The clothes hangers. I got a box of clothes hangers, by the way, and I'm using that now in my closet because I hate having to go to the store just to buy hangers. So now I have a reason to just give me this box and take it. It was a really long, hard, drug out process. I'm still sore from having to lift, push, and pull a lot of this stuff and having to get on my knees a lot. It was just, my back is still sore too. So I think that's pretty much all that I have from this first episode, this first commemorative episode of Dave's Retails. My battery's running out on my camera, so I wanted to go ahead and say thank you all for watching, thank you all for listening. I hope you like this series. If you do, if you have some inputs on this series, thoughts and concerns of things that I could change, let me know in the comments below. Let me know of some of your retail stories too in the comments below. Go support Fantavision and Camelot331. Links in the description below. For now, that's it for me. That's it for my retail tales. For now, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And thank you all for tuning in. I hope to see you guys right back here in the very near future. For now, cheers. Have a good day. Mountain Dew is fantastic. Alright. Yeah. Not gonna pull a Fantavision here, but I am drinking my morning coffee, if you will. I do need this during the day, and yesterday I went without it. Holy shit, I've never wanted to die so fast in my life. That shit's the bomb. Anyway. And I also wanted to apologize to all the video making expertise group members watching this video. I know that there's a big washed out section of this video. I need to get another curtain for this window over here because it is very much uncovered. The only thing that is really covering it isn't really doing a good job at all. That's a box fan right on top of the shelf over here that is not running because, you know, microphone. So I'll try to do a better job over these next videos in the series of getting a better angle. I kind of want to do on the futon back there facing this way with the background facing that way. Kind of getting the gaming setup in there, but I don't know. I've tried facing the computer. I've tried facing that way. I need to get a table for this mic. I really do. That way, because the cord's 6 foot long, and I really just want to go that way with it. You know what I mean? So over the course of the series, I'll try to figure that out the best I can. But for right now, this is the setup we got. So with that being said, with the disclaimer out of the way, and pretty much this series starting to kick off now, I don't want to fall into the Snapchat, you're a bitch. Alright guys, today was the final day for FYE store number 453. These dumpsters are filled with trash, but they're also filled with memories at the same time. Yes, I'm going back in the service door simply because of the fact that I can. That's that. Make sure it's locked, actually. Wanted to do that all the time. And there it is, guys. The old FYE. There's the old guitar pick logo. You can't really see much, can you? Maybe if we come here. Oh yeah. There's the piano cash wrap. Everything. The board. Even the sign. Let's take a look at the sign real quick before I leave. We had a problem with that sign coming down. Couldn't even get it out the back door. And the guys who put it up, apparently, they just left this top part, which was black glass as it was, which was broken. So they had to break it even more to get the sign on there. That's our storefront. Oh, the memories.